has a range of 150 to 165, so additional strategy certainly comes into play. Now, all of our runners, they are here in Group 7, so they are, well, they're looking to climb here. So they're looking for a first-place finish to be able to get 5 huge points here in the league. Second place gets 3 points, 2 for third, and 1 for fourth place. And we are starting off here. We've got the 3 treasure chests, the obligatory magic key, as well as a cursed belt and some big bucks. So no quick escape being able to hang on to the keys. So that will slow things down a bit here, but our runners, well, Seawolf looking to save and hold on to that gold. Our other 2 runners, Janus and Bry, looking to get some early fighting in and perhaps a little bit of exploration as well. And oof, well, Janus finding out that the red slimes have the traditional baby breath, as we call it. It's a fire breath that usually does around 20 hit points of damage. And Janus now finding a town over to the west, and it's Rimeldar, the town that has the ability to purchase keys without any restrictions. So those magic keys that'll open up doors, that will go pretty quickly here. And also taking a look, just shy of a hand axe, is going to purchase a set of clothes for 2 defense, though. Meanwhile, a reset on Bry's side and is going to start on over here. And Seawolf, meanwhile, working on a Drakey, but a huge find here for Janus. And given the amount of gold that you have to wonder, do you spend the 560 to get a hand axe, which will make fighting the enemies a bit easier? Do you go right for the keys in the hopes that perhaps in the treasury in Tanager you have Erdrick's sword, the best sword in the game? There's certainly a lot of risk-reward that's going on here, as the Seawolf taking a death and a reset, and brisulph now going to save as well. And one of those keys, well, one of those treasure chests, rather, we're going to find behind 2 doors here. And we'll see if the gamble pays off, and it is more big bucks. So that allows Janus to be able to recover at the end with the 1 hit point. And also go up and perhaps get that hand axe. Seawolf, meanwhile, finding Rimeldar as well, and so is Bry, and there's the hand axe purchase on Janus' side. So this is good. Our runner's going to have some offense, as that hand axe adds 15 attack points to their totals. It is the 4th best weapon out of 7 in the game, so it's certainly not too shabby. And immediately Janus is going to head back into Tanager Castle, and we're going to find out what is in the 4 chests in the treasury. We've got an herb. We've got a replacement magic key. We've got the fighter's ring. That'll add 2 attack points to the total. And there's the big stick, Erdrick's sword, right in the middle. So that is a huge find, and now going to pick up a couple of replacement keys here. So, wow, the best sword in the game, adding 40 attack points to the total. It's a little more than 2.5 times better than the hand axe in terms of combat. And now we have a cave in the back of Tanager Castle. And Janus taking a couple of steps, and just like that's going to opt on out. Meanwhile, Bry taking out a Magic Drakey is going to be our first here to level 2, where we have gains of 6 power, 2 speed, 3 hit points, and 2 magic points. And not too far behind, Janus now going to go to 2 as well. So Seawolf getting some keys. And Setver, yes, no gold in the treasury, as we had the fighter's ring, a magic key, an herb, and Erdrick's sword. And Seawolf trying to get away from a wolf, but not able to do so. And Janus chipping away here at a Magiwyvern, a very tough enemy. Even with the 42 attack, not a whole lot to speak of here, and it's going to use an herb to hang on here. The Magiwyvern casting hurt quite a bit, although all it has to do is attack once, just like that, and that's going to send Janus back. And Seawolf, meanwhile, getting the big stick. And that makes our runners here, I guess the term that's often used is a glass cannon, as their attack is 46, but their defense, I believe, just a base of 4 here at level 1. And taking out the Scorpion, Janus going to 3, 7, 4, 1, 11, and a new spell. And that is the spell of Return, which will get them right back to the castle. How convenient, considering they're right near the castle. So both of our runners opting against the basement, or at least so I thought. The Seawolf going to do a little bit of meandering here. Trying to get a gander of where it is that they might be based on the movements here. I'm wondering if that might be the Tablet Cave. No encounters thus far. And it is, in fact, the Tablet Cave, no encounters, and we have gold for Seawolf's troubles. Meanwhile, Janus is in the Mountain Cave. Thank you for that, Smashy in chat. And we have, about to join us here, my co-commentator, Bobski, has just made his way into the Discord room here. And yes, that is a great point for Smashy that, yes, there is a gold grind on the table. I did not see the first chest, although given that a torch was used, I'm guessing that the first chest in the Mountain Cave was in fact a torch, as we now have a death necklace as well. Also good to help us see what exactly is going on, so that is greatly appreciated. While we certainly appreciate the skill of our runners being able to navigate certain caves in the dark, we also want to be able to see what's going on. So we have a set of wings, also an herb up in the top 2 chests in the Mountain Cave. One more chest to check. And it is another set of wings. So a lot of ways to return to the castle, as Seawolf now getting up to level 2. And I believe we have Bobski ready to go here. How are you doing this evening?
Doing pretty well. Running a little bit behind, so sorry about that. But glad to join you here in the box.
No problem. It's one of those things where there was a lot of action, but also things kind of moving deliberately at the same time as we're 8.5 minutes in. As there was some big bucks to start off in the treasury along with a cursed belt, but a town nearby in the town of Rimmildar, so that allowed our runners to be able to purchase keys pretty well on the offset. And inside of Rimmildar was another chest of gold, so that allowed them to start off by getting hand axes and max out their keys, just to go into Tanagil's treasury and find Erdrick's sword.
Ah, so we've got the big stick.
Yep, big stick to start off here. Now Janus, meanwhile, has found the Mountain Cave and full cleared it, but the only thing of note is the death necklace, which, if our runners have enough hit points near the end, that may come more into play, as that's usually just a cursed item, almost like a whammy that you don't necessarily want.
Sure, it's a little bit too early to tell whether or not they'll have the death necklace hit points when it comes to time to hit the Dragon Lord pretty.
Indeed. The way that the death necklace works here in Dragon Warrior Randomizer, normally it's just a cursed item that when you put it on, it squeezes your body tightly and it keeps you from entering Tanagil Castle. As the king says, you're cursed, and kicks you out. However, here a little bit of a trade-off occurs in that when you put on the Death Necklace, it gives you an additional 10 attack power, but at the cost of 25% of your maximum hit points. So generally, you don't see the Death Necklace being put on unless our runners have a minimum of 130 hit points, which is quite a ways away. And wow, a nice gain at level 6 for Janus. Double-digit strength and agility, and he has found the Rainbow Drop Cave, also known as the Jerk Cave. So once all of the applicable items have been found, he'll trade all of the items in, and we'll get it from that particular old man there to apply the Rainbow Drop to cross the bridge over troubled water into Charlotte Castle. But if you don't have the items necessary, most specifically Erdrick's token, well, he'll kick you out of the cave like the jerk that he is. And top stats, to answer your question, Erdrick's sword was in the treasury, and there was the town of Rimeldar right by the castle, so quick, easy access to keys, and that easy access to keys allowed easy access to... well, allowed easy access to the sword in this case, in the treasury. And I see that Bry getting, according to chat here, the Stones of Sunlight and the Silver Harp. This is exactly what I was referencing in terms of, well, it's great that they're navigating in the dark, but we can't see what in the daylights is going on here.
And he tries to play a sweet melody on the harp, and nothing happened.
Yes, the Silver Harp, when you play it on the overworld, it allows an encounter against an enemy at random, but in a cave, it does not work nearly as well. I would imagine Bry trying to perhaps... yeah, looking to take a death warp here, it looks like. And doing so in a kind of a long way here. Perhaps maybe getting turned around a little bit and not quite able to navigate out in the dark, and with no radiant spell and no torches, no way to be able to see. So just kind of hoping to bonk your way around until you find an enemy. And you can see utilizing the fighter's ring to avoid attacking because, for once, he doesn't want to make a kill. Now, I'm guessing that the Stones of Sunlight and the Silver Harp were two of the top 3 chests in Garen's grave. That's the challenge even with watching 3 screens, is you tend to miss things, although it looks at the moment as though, okay, Janus is in the tablet cave and Seawolf is navigating through the mountain cave and going to level 6 in the process. And Bry, meanwhile, has found the Rainbow Drop Cave, the Jerk, but doesn't quite have everything just yet. But what he does have is a quick way back to the castle in the form of the Armored Knight, known in the community as an AK-47 because, well, it hits pretty much as hard as one, as Bry has found out the hard way. So Seawolf taking the long way out of the mountain cave. And going to do a little bit more exploration. Meanwhile, Bry heading toward a town nearby. I believe that is Breckenary. Also known as Six Town because it has the least expensive inn throughout the realm of the land. Only 6 gold to replenish all of your hit points and magic points. And Bry able to get away from the Armored Knight and is going to do a little bit of browsing in the weapon and armor shop here.
Sometimes you roll the dice and you win. on that run from the AK.
And while Chad asking where the Red Dragon is, the fun police, and ask and ye shall receive, as Janus unfortunately finds out. It is known as the fun police because when they show up, the fun tends to stop, as they have among the highest attack and the highest agility among all of the enemies.
And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Bri just found out that the AK has sleep.
Which makes them even more dangerous than usual.
Yes, that'll make for an interesting dive through Sharlock if they are indeed one of the enemies there.
Yeah, the Armored Knight, one of 10 enemies that can be in Sharlock Castle. And Jack, to answer your question in chat, we have the 3 players featured. Kaiten having some streaming issues that have been on and off, is locally recording, but as far as bringing the stream, we're not able to bring it to you here. However, our tracker, Ali Gerbrap, is monitoring that screen as well, and when items come along, I believe we'll be putting them up just along with all of our other runners here, so you'll be able to see the comparative statistics, even though you won't be able to see what Kaiten is doing. And Seawolf finding the Red Dragon once again. That is a dangerous stretch of land to try to cross.
And Bri getting to level 8 with a 4, 7, 10, 4, and a new spell.
Oh, wow. And the Seawolf getting up to level 7 with 0 strength, and somewhere Empty Eye loves it. Smashy doing an appropriate Empty Eye impression in chat, yes. And level 7 over on Janus's side. As chat continues to discuss whether apparently I have a vocal doppelganger in Jackamus Way. And we do see the top 3 chests of Garen's grave as Janus has found them. So we do confirm Silver Harp, Gold, and Stones of Sunlight. Two more treasure chests still to be found. And not to sound like a broken record, but the Seawolf has run into and been wrecked by a red dragon. And Jackamus enjoying Dragon Warrior Randomizer the right way in chat. A sandwich or 2 and a brew or 2. Cheers, mate. So Janus working through the grave. And 2 more treasure chests to find, but are there enough resources to be able to hang on? Meanwhile, Seawolf doing some exploration to the north, and Bri working on a Magidrake. Or Magic Wyvern, I should say.
Unfortunately, in the lower enemy bracket in the grave, there are fun police. So, yet another death warp thanks to the red.
So you have to wonder how much of a deterrent that will be in terms of seeking what items might be down there. Although at this point, the biggest item to find is an item that may be in a treasure chest, or it may be in a search spot in Erdrick's token.
I would think that the players might prioritize a little bit more exploration in order to get some sort of lead on the Erdrick's arm.
As Bry now up to level 9, getting a nice 13 hit point gain. Also 9 strength, certainly not too shabby. And Janus back into a cave here.
That looks like Swamp North to Swamp South, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, the movements certainly seem to match that. If there's a quick left here, yep, that is in fact Swamp North to Swamp South. So now over to another part of the land, as it's almost like a not-so-instant teleportation. But it leads to Charlock Castle. So we know where the Dragon Lord dwells, and just as Janus finds that out, the Armored Knight says, all right, you got this information, now back you go. Be gone with you. Or be gone with thee, perhaps. Yep, slept and wrecked by the Armored Knight. Oh, and Bry trying to get away from a golem, and he gets wrecked. And chat noting that there have not been a whole lot of gains in agility, and for that reason, in trying to run away from the different enemies, well, those efforts have been futile, to say the least.
And along with the red dragon in the zone that Bry just took a death warp out of, there's also metal slimes. So it's an interesting pairing. I don't think anyone's going to grind for that until they can handle the red.
And handling the red dragon at this point, getting rocked for 50, is highly unlikely. And yes, a great observation in chat that while the power of the sword has been very well noted, the availability of armor, not quite as much, as Janus at least is clothed, and the Seawolf and Bry, well, they're doing their best Ray Stevens impression and doing the streak. Boogity boogity.
There's a Sleep Hurt More combo on the Star Wyverns, and so that looks like a quick death warp too whenever you see those. We're not going to have too much luck running until we get a lot more agility.
And a metal slime up on Janus's side, and trying to go 1-for-1 with it. All it has is 3 hit points, and if you're able to take it out, 255 experience to you, but it certainly is a challenge, as at any point they can run away. But he gets a critical hit that excellent move, and he's going to get 255, and that's going to vault him to level 9. So Seawolf back in a cave and working on metal scorpions. Now it's Bry's turn to tussle with the metal slime. So far he's hit it for 1, hit it for 2, and he's hit it for 3. And that 255 going to be just enough to get him to level 10. Gains of 2, 10, 14, and 1, plus a new spell. Well, we've got Heal More in the mix.
Yeah, he's had Heal More for a few levels. I think he was hoping to see Hurt Plus, but we'll wait to see that in a little.
And for the reward of level 10, gets slept and wrecked. And Janus with another crit on a metal slime. And that's going to get him up to level 10.
And just like that, he's back in the game.
Yeah, somebody needs to call a medic for the metal slimes. That's what I was going with. Or as the kids say, they need some milk.
That was 510 quick experience. I don't think you could ask for anything better than that at this point in the game.
No, that quickly leapt Janus up to the experience lead among our 3 featured runners here. And Bry not wanting to tussle with the Star Wyvern, totally understandable.
We almost get to see what this town is. The Wraith shouldn't be too much of an issue, so we will get to find out what's up here. And it is Cantlin, so we will, as long as he has a key on him, be able to find out if there is a search spot on this map. I haven't seen a cursed belt, but I didn't see the very beginning of the chests, so we may not have to search, but I think
there was a cursed belt in the throne room.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, the opener was cursed belt, big bucks, and the magic key, and we have 1 north and 33 east for the searchable spot. Chattel indicating that certainly seems countable. And certainly hard to argue with that. And Royale in chat noting that the 1 north gave hope for 1 east, which would certainly be, yes, among the easiest counts that we have seen in a race here among the Randomania networks, that is for certain. And Jackamus in chat, one of the longtime runners of Dragon Warrior Randomizer, noting that there has been statistics in the past of 1 in one of the cardinal directions and 0 in the other. So Brian now going to stay at the Ritz Cantlin, spend 100 gold, all kinds of lavish. And and back out for more adventuring. So Bry, finding a red dragon, is going to try to take it on here.
He'll do it 15 hit points at a time, and we'll find out if it's got heal.
Well, I mean, given the attack range here, it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's just going to use up a lot of heal more resources, but is able to do so and gets a big 255, not too far away from level 11.
Yeah, one more red dragon would do it for him.
And speak of which, but this one he wants no part of. And the red dragon says, "This one is for my friend." Back you go, Bry.
And now Janus gonna see the count and walk right back. And right now, Seawolf's going to show us that that's very walkable count. That's just going to be kind of straight to the east there. You might have to walk a little bit around a lake, but shouldn't be.
Although with the armored knights and red dragons running about, certainly not making it even remotely easy.
But if I've got my levels correct, Bry should show us what a level 11 looks like, and he did retake the lead on that red dragon kill. Just a little.
So a lot of, almost out of MP at this point, does get the kill on the red dragon, and we're going to see level 11 here. With 7 power, 2 speed, 0 hit points, 4 magic points, and another spell. So will Bry be able to finish the count? It's the fairy flute.
We do know there's a zone with a golem in it, and he has seen it, so that could be doable. It's not an ideal enemy, but with the red dragons taking so much magic, it might be a good way to get chunks of experience, right?
So we still have the town of Cole and the town of Hawksness. One or both of those may have the searchable, well, they have the searchable spots. Whether they have what we need is yet to be determined in Erdrick's armor and Erdrick's token. So with the Healmore spell, oh my goodness. Well, Bry taking a death to a Demon Knight. Seawolf, meanwhile, is using Healmore and is going to attempt to take on the Armored Knight. And Eternal Newbie, to answer your question in chat, yes, there was one curse belt found in the throne room. The other has not been found. So far, the chests that have been uncovered out of the 23 that are in the overworld, obviously the 3 in the throne room, the 4 in Tanagil's treasury, all 5 in the mountain cave, the tablet caves 1, and the upper 3 in Garen's grave. So there's still the 3 treasure chests in Garenham yet to be found, the 2 deep in Garen's grave, as well as the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight cave.
And the Seawolf does manage to outlast the Armored Knight. I read in chat that they had heal more, and so it was kind of interesting that he got lucky to outlast there, but got lucky on the second to last turn getting slept and down to 2 hit points. And there's the Fun Police to finish the job with no mana left.
Yeah, this is not a very friendly seed when it comes to the Red Dragons. They are making their presence felt.
The strategy right now on grinding just seems to be outlast the opponent. Use heal more every second turn at best, and hope that you can out-hit.
Outwit, outlast, and survive. Where have I heard that before? Sounds like a good tagline for a show. Anyway, Brian now into a cave.
That was Swamp again. And he will now find Charlock if he goes south, but it looks like he's going north and east.
And running into the Star Wyvern with Sleep and Heal More, or Hurt More, rather, I should say. Seawolf using Heal More to stay alive for a little bit, and over to Cantlin.
The Seawolf doing a little bit of shopping before he checks out with the old man, and I believe he is the last to get the coordinates, but we'll definitely...
Yep, a virtual high five going on between Janus and Bry. And off-screen, Kaiten had acquired the coordinates as well. Another Red Dragon kill for Bry, who is just under 100 experience away from level 12. And Newbie, yes, Kaiten is having some streaming issues that we're not able to capture the feed, but Ali Gerbrap, our tracker, is keeping an eye on Kaiten's individual stream and providing some updates along the way. Also, I'd be remiss if I didn't give some great thanks to providing the restream here, none other than Captain Green 7. Make sure to give him a follow, as well as all of our folks behind the scenes here. And Setford, to answer your question, the well, Rimeldar, I was going to say, I think it had magic armor, but that was about it. But it did open the seed here for us. as the keys in Rimmildar right by Tandagil Castle allowed access to the treasury, which contained Erdrick's sword.
Yeah, it looks like level 12. Bri got it while I wasn't looking, and so I didn't see the stat increase, but judging by the difference between 11 and 12, he's got 13 hit points between him and Janus right now, and I know they have slightly different builds, but it looks like that worked out pretty well in his...
So yes, once Janus gets to level 12, as does the Sea Wolf, you will see an astronomical hit point gain by comparison. And again, at stake here, a huge 5 points in the league, which will vault our runners a little bit closer here, is definitely looking to get into double digits or close to it, is all of our runners here to get closer to finishing among the top 16 of our 40 runners here to be able to make their way into the final stages of league play after 5 weeks of the rounds that we see here. So 2 more still to go, and as we get closer to that 5th and final week, it gets a little bit more, well, the desperation comes up a little bit more to get those additional points.
Just go ahead.
I was just saying, Bri going after yet another red dragon. Oh, and Janus has found coal. So we'll see what one of the searchable spots are here. Will it be empty and meaning that the token is in a treasure chest? Nope, Erdrick's token is in the search spot. So that confirms that Hawksness will contain Erdrick's armor.
And with that red dragon kill, there's about 1,000 point difference between our 3 streamed runners right here. Or sorry, 1,000 points each between our 3 streamed runners.
Yeah, 3,700 to 26 to 17. That's fairly evenly spread along the way here. Although the Sea Wolf going to almost get up to 1,800 with that night kill, as Janus opting to rest at the inn at Cole and heads right back on out.
Cole was built on prime swamp real estate right there.
Oh, absolutely. And Bri getting into a little bit of trouble with the Red Dragon. The defense certainly a lot to be able to endure, as with just 44 defense, well, those Red Dragons can hit from anywhere from 24 to 49, and gambled on 44 and ended up taking the death. And Janus, after trading in for the Staff of Rain, trading that Silver Harp in, has now found Hawksness, and we know that it's guarded by an enemy and it has the best armor in the game.
I don't know if you're relieved or not to find out that there's a red dragon on that trap tile. Red dragons are handleable, but they're not an ideal.
No, but all it takes is one to be able to pick up that armor, and your defense gets a lot better. And to answer the question in chat regarding the token, so the Fairy Flute and Erdrick's token can be in a treasure chest. If they are, then those respective search spots will be empty, and they will be in the chest. If they are in all the different search spots, then you will find 2 cursed belts throughout various treasure chests. But once an item, either the Fairy Flute or Erdrick's token, is in a chest, it replaces what would have been a cursed belt. So we have Erdrick's armor where it is supposed to be, and there's a huge get for Janus. And Smashy asking if this is grind and go for Janus, and based on the items that are acquired, other than going back to where the Rainbow Drop Cave is, the Jerk Cave, that is going to do it. You can see there 22 hit point gain at level 12. We did say it was going to be pretty massive.
So just a 1-level lead for Bry after he finishes this.
2, 5, 1, and 12, the numbers at level 13 for Bry. Oh, and the Seawolf getting slept and wrecked by a Star Wyvern. And we have Garanham over on Bry's side, so we will see what 3 of the treasure chests are here. There's our other cursed belt. We also have a fairy water that works like the repel spell to ward off weak enemies on the overworld. And we have another fairy water. I believe by process of elimination, this should be the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave behind Garanham, and it most certainly is. So 1 free treasure chest here, and it's an herb. So the only 2 treasure chests that we don't know about here in the overworld are the 2 deep in Garen's grave, but it doesn't look like there's any need to go back there. So Janus heading back into a Red Dragon grind in Hawksness. And meanwhile, as Smashy notes in chat, Seawolf giving the Golem the business. They'll get him to level 11.
And I didn't catch quite what did Janus in there. It was a red dragon, but I don't know if he miscalculated because he had just gone to coal to refill his mana. Deciding to potentially try out another grind if he's going to grab the Rainbow Drop and go through the Swamp Cave and go see what's in However, we don't have Short Sharlock this week, so it's going to be the, I believe, 7 floors of Sharlock for the dive.
That is correct. Once you get from the main floor, you've got to go down 7 basements, or the seventh basement in is where the Dragon Lord is hiding. Lurking, as it were. So as we see the Armored Knight over on Bry's side, it doesn't look like it casts sleep all that often. And Seawolf, meanwhile, wanting nothing to do with the Star Wyvern sleep spell or hurt more for that matter, and just casts stop spell and gets punched in the face for 32, and the Seawolf taking a death.
So stocking up on herbs and using the inn in Garenham is Bry. The Seawolf looking to gain a little bit of experience off the Metal Scorpion, and Janus playing the Armored. And as you said, I think it might be a 25% sleep Armored Knight. We had just seen it fairly often when we saw them early, but that can always be just a quirk of the RNG that we see.
Yeah, showing it early just to intimidate, and then it's like, all right, I've scared them off. I don't need to use it again.
Three turns and counting for Janus asleep. And it looks... Oh, he wakes up on the last turn before getting wrecked by the armored...
Well, see, Janus wasn't intimidated, so of course the Armored Knight had to throw out the sleep again. Just a reminder, hey, I had this. It's going to get you in trouble. Just like that.
They do have stop spell, so I'm a little surprised you wouldn't just throw it out there, since you have the hit points and the magic to deal with the Armored Knight.
Well, it's one of those calculated risks. If they figured out at this point that it only casts it 25% of the time, figure, all right, I'll just bonk it 3 times and not have to worry about it necessarily. But then it's that 4th time where they cast it, and it's, oh man.
I think my calculation would shift the further I am from Tanagel. I don't want to do that long walk that many times, but that's just me. I know that they're trying to go as fast as possible, and they have no idea where any of the other runners are. We have the great advantage of watching everybody go. And Bry did find Hawksness, and he's found the Red Dragon. He's going to find himself the armor here very shortly.
And there's the armor. We have a question in chat. Have we found the Wombo combo of Sleep and Dragonlord Breath? We have found the Diet Wombo, as it's known, of Sleep and Hurt More, but we have not seen the combination of Sleep and Dragonlord Breath, and I hate to pull a potential commentator's curse, but I don't think we've seen a Dragonlord Breath at all this seed, have we?
Not that I recall seeing. Not that the Red Dragons or the Armored Knights made it easy to get around the map early. And these Star Wyverns also seem to be very much in favor of not letting our players move around.
Well, we have an example of that Diet Wombo up on Janus's screen as the Star Wyvern sends him back to the sim bin. So Seawolf starting to catch up in experience, but getting slept and wrecked almost simultaneously as we've got an Armored Knight and a Star Wyvern respectively taking out Seawolf and Janus.
And brisulph is catching up on the quest items here. He's just about to find... Yep, there it is. So he's found his missing city, and I bet he's going to beeline it right in to go and find the Erdrick's token on the search spot here. Also buying himself the large shield. An interesting choice, but definitely going to help out with the defense here.
Yeah, 10 additional defense points. Certainly not shabby at all.
Did Janus find that armored knight on the trap tile in Swamp? I know he found it in a cave at one point, but I couldn't tell if he had made it to the trap tile.
Once again, while we respect the ability to be able to navigate in the dark as a commentator, not being able to see what our runners are doing does not make it easy.
Yeah, I definitely can't track multiple runners in the dark. That's an unenviable task for any.
Well, now Janus has found, or has gone back to Hawksness here in this case. So Janus just trying to find a good place to grind, as everything else pretty well aligned here. And you see the statistics at the moment. Pretty good difference there of a nice 9 strength gain between 13 and 14. Now, you see the various colors of the numbers there. White pretty much means not quite there yet. Orange, you might think about it if some of the other stats are green, which green is an ideal color to have. Pretty much means, yep, we're good to go here with going after Sharlock and trying to go for the Dragon Lord. But the only green stat that we see is agility on Bry's side, and that's because Bry opted to go with a strength agility build based on his name. Oh, and I think that might have been a possible miss menu, as I believe Hurt More was learned at level 14, so after a few levels of instinctively just hitting up once, and you've got your Heal More spell. Yep, looks like all the spells are learned by level 14 in this seed.
Yeah, I believe that's a 1 in 16 shot on hitting that Hurt More, so I doubt that was on purpose.
No, the 6% odds, not very favorable. As noted in chat, that is a miss menu that I think we all have related to if we've ever played this game.
Janus is doing a pretty good job of closing the gap right now. Just Bry doing a little bit of errand running and catching up on the quest items gave Janus a chance to close that up to about 600 to 800, depending on who's got the last kill on an enemy recently. But it looks like he's just about to run out of magic points, so that grind is going to come to an end, and Bry is going to have a chance to widen that out again. It's going to be back and forth, but I think he's got just a slight edge, Bry does.
But it looks to be very close between the two, that is for certain.
And with a long Sharlock, we could see something interesting happen here. It could be a very difficult dive if there are lots of Star Wyvern.
Yeah, Star Wyvern's not usually the enemy you think of as problematic when you go into Sharlock Castle, but this seed having the combination of sleep and hurt more and casting them both very often, that will certainly cause a good deal of recalculation by our runner.
All fives on the experience right now for Janus with 5,555 to brisulph's 6,200.
And Seawolf closing in on level 13.
And another red dragon on the trap tile in the swamp cave. So just red dragons. So
yeah, this seed has, forget the fun police, they have called in the fun SWAT team on this seed.
I think Janus is swinging kind of in the danger zone. I think he might be trying to push a little bit, having been killed by yet another red dragon. Or was it a heal more miss? Oh, got it.
Nobody is immune to it.
I would be surprised if we don't see the Seawolf do it as well, especially if he doesn't recognize that was the spell gained right at level 4. Exactly what Jack says in chat just now.
But first, Seawolf getting slept and wrecked by the Armored Knight. So Bry on the grind in 14, or in the swamp cave, and looks like it's just one red dragon away from level 15. And Janus with those multiple deaths to various enemies here, and just you saw Bride just take that little bit of hesitation and not casting hurt more, but instead moving up to heal more. And for those just joining us, that is correct. Kaiten is in the race, is having some streaming issues, and is doing the local recording of it. So we're keeping track as best we can, thanks to our tracker, Ali Gerbrap. And as we find out more, we'll bring it along the way here. And oh, Bry with a critical hit on the red dragon, but it wasn't enough. And without resources, ends up getting sent back to the castle. So not a lot in terms of gains from 15 or 14 to 15. Looks like just 1 strength and 1 MP.
Yeah, the only double digit there was agility, which brings some more defense, but is not necessarily what Bry is looking for with that strength agility build.
And Bry trying to get away from the armored knight. Not able to do so still. And a note in chat that the silver shield would certainly play a huge factor, as difference between 85 and 95 defense means that a lot of the enemies inside Charlotte Castle won't quite be hitting nearly as hard, but given the outdoor terrain and the trek that it would take to get to, I know Cantlin was one of the few towns that we saw that had a silver shield. Do you want to make your way through without getting mugged by one of the enemies when you have almost 15,000 gold?
I think our runners would probably opt just to get the extra level. I know I personally wouldn't necessarily think of a late game gold grind just to grab that silver shield to go. It just doesn't seem, as Jackamus is noting in chat, it just doesn't seem like an efficient use of time when you already have the rainbow drop for 2 of our runners. And you just want to see those go stats. So I think we probably won't see a silver shield. The large shield might just be good enough for our runners.
Yeah, the difference between the silver shield and the large shield, an additional 10 defense power. So while the silver shield is ideal, it's also, as Mr. Dink would say in Doug, very expensive. So Seawolf now having some troubles with a blue dragon and out of resources. But is able to chop it down. There's another 180. And oh look, a red dragon over on Bry's side. Something that we haven't seen in 40 seconds.
Yeah, I think the red leather market is just going to be a little bit flooded after this match.
Yes, dragon scales for all. So now here comes level 15 for Janus. 1, 9, 2, and 1. Not very impressive.
Gonna do a stats check here, and I think he'll think about it and then go right back to the grind. Yep, that's exactly what he did.
Now, as far as the statistics that our runners are looking for, the primary thing is going to be the comparison of hit points, magic points, and attack. Those are going to be your three biggies. Now, obviously, strength plays a contributing factor to that. The attack power, you want to figure out how much damage you can do to the second form of the Dragon Lord, which, as we mentioned in the beginning, has anywhere from 150 to 165 hit points. How you determine the attack range? Well, you start off, you want to have definitely a minimum of 100, because you'll want to lop off that first digit of the 100. In this case, we'll use Janus as an example, or brisulph, leaving them with 18. You cut that number in half, 9, that is your top range that you can go with. Cut that number in half, round it down to the next whole number. 4 would be your minimum range. So you'd be hitting right now from a range of 4 to 9 hit points on Dragon Lord 2. And Andre, to answer your question, they are pretty far in, as at this point for both Bri and Janus, they are essentially in grind and go mode. They're just working on getting their statistics up to a point where they can take on the final boss, the Dragon Lord.
And Bri just got to level 16, and we'll see it right here with 1, 4, 2, and 3. So not the stats that he was looking to see, and he'll probably,
We're going.
He might
17.
take a death warp here pretty quick. Yeah, he might go to 17. I'll be interested to see if Janus goes and tries Sharlock here. I don't know that I would if I were Bri, but with that little bit of extra hit points at 123, I'd be considering it right now.
I don't know. We'll see the official numbers, as the strength HP builds are different than the strength agility builds, but I think even with the bonus of hit points, like the Madonna song from the late 80s, you're on the borderline.
And Andre, in the randomizer, the spells that you need to win, such as Heal More, are all randomized on the learning, but they're guaranteed by 16. In this case, we got Heal More by level 8.
So Bri looking to replenish resources and is heading on back over to Garenham. So now it's looking at which grind is more efficient, the Hawksness grind or the Swamp Cave grind.
And that's really just dependent on how fast they can refill their magic and get back to the grind. Bri did have about a 3.5 dragon lead, but that gets cut down every time you need to go back.
And now making the trek back and finding an armored knight along the way, and it casts sleep. Meanwhile, there's 16, and let's take a look. 125. So even if you use the death necklace, that puts you at 129 attack power, and your hit points would be cut down to about 95?
Yeah, I was thinking 95 feels right. I'm not doing the math necessarily, but that just kind of seems like where you'd end up, as 133 gets you right about a...
We're actually being generous, as it would be 93 for a max.
So we'll just hope for no mismenus in the inventory near the death necklace.
Yeah, ideally you want 130 hit points at minimum to utilize the Death Necklace to bring you down to 97. So, I don't know. We'll see if Janus rolls the dice here and goes for it as we're closing in on the 75-minute mark of this seed.
There's also not a ton of magic on these builds right now either. Just 10 Healmores. Unless they get a good gain here on 17, they might be looking to 18. We'll see what the stat gains look like. There might be a double digit coming down the pipe, and we'll see them go, but you just have to wait and see, and until then, we'll have more red dragons coming your way.
And also coming your way here on Random Mania at the top of the hour, a little more than a half hour from now, we have the last of our Week 3 races. It's going to be Group 3, so all looking to further their position in the mix as they're already currently in the top 16. It's going to be Mr. Holmes, Will Wagner Music, Schubinator, and Jackamus Wedge. That comes up at 9 o'clock Eastern here on Random Mania.
And red dragons now for all three of our restreamed runners, with the Seawolf now taking one on, and Hawksness, I believe.
Yep, so we have a couple of Hawksness battles as well as the Swamp Cave for Bry. Two of the competitors in that race coming up at the top of the hour, having a little fun in chat, saying to not finish the race so Week 3 will never end. And if that kind of shenanigans are going on, I'm going to withdraw my commentary status from that race later this evening. Sorry, up to NG.
And so level 17 will come up at 12,000 experience points for both Janus and Bry. And the Seawolf is looking to get to, I believe it's 7,500?
Yeah, 7,500, the number to get to level 15. And Mr. Holmes at the point that shouldn't have eluded me, but I guess I'm so honed in on this race here, is that when it's a Jackamus race, yes, shenanigans are abound.
And Bry is going to find out what level 17 holds, and he's looking for that strength gain that we've been talking about.
You know it's coming. There's going to be that strength gain at this point where it's going to be maybe, I don't know, somewhere in the 9 to 12 range. Or it's going to be 4.
But they did get another Healmore available to them, so that is one consideration, but it's not quite enough. Attack power only sitting at 123. That's just not going to be good enough for the Dragon Lord 2.
No, hitting for 5 to 11 on Dragon Lord 2 with only 11 Healmores. Nope, I think 18 is the way to go here. And chat noting that with the potential gains at 17 for those with the strength and HP build, that this may be a seed where the Death Necklace could be utilized to gain that additional 10 strength.
And that's level 17 exactly for Janus, right there. And while the Death Necklace can be into play, it's still going to be a pretty stressful Sharlock, I would imagine, for that 133 is the very low end.
Yeah, Mr. Holmes, the magic mathematician that he is, doing the math in chat. So a range with that 133 in the Death Necklace for Janus of 8 to 16. So 14 attacks, or 13 to 14 attacks to win. But with only 11 heal mores, it's...
That's stretching it because of the hit points. You'll be down to 101 with the Death Necklace.
Yeah, it is certainly a gamble, but by no means is it a free fight.
And all you need to do is see a couple Star Wyverns on your way down, and you're starting to stress out a little bit more. I would imagine that we'll see the runners use some herbs on their way down to try to preserve some magic, and we're going to see, I think Janus is going right.
Janus is making the trek over to Sharlock and is going to utilize the Rainbow Drop.
You find something like an Axe Knight on that trap tile, you might consider grinding for right in front of the Dragon Lord for that next level, just to be a little bit safer. But definitely pushing for it. No, not seeing anyone finished yet. You might just say, let's go and see if...
Holmes also noting here that it's just 9 red dragons to go from level 17 to 18. Which at the rate it's going is about a 4-minute grind. And for all we know, that's where that huge strength gain could come in. And next thing you know, you've got green stats galore and it's essentially a free battle. But 4 more to go. And Holmes noting if there were just 3 more power, it'd be a whole different story.
And just lots of green dragons on that top floor of Sharlock for Janus. A little bit surprised you didn't start swinging at them, as they'd be a pretty quick...
Well, the issue is that Janus has not damage broken the green dragons. So they're still, while they're not going to hit as hard as earlier in the seed, they are still going to pack a pretty good punch. Still going to hit for anywhere from 11 to 23 hit points. So first basement gone through. Nicely able to get away from the red dragon there. And Janus taking no chances, going to use the fairy flute here on the golem.
Just one more red dragon here for Brian, then we will see what his stats look like at 8.
So there is basement 2 done. Now into basement 3, a new set of enemies. And we've got more green dragons. And it has the baby fire. And now here is level 18 for Bry. 5 power, 1 speed, 5 hit points, 6 magic points. Ooh.
It's hard to say. The's 12 heal mores in that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're up to 12 Healmores now. At this point, you're hitting for 7 to 14.
So an average of 10 with 12 Healmores, you'd need 3 to 4 doubles depending on the... But with 127 hit points, so not going with the Death Necklace, obviously you get a few more doubles out of it.
So while it's averaging 16 attacks, you have that possibility for doubles. And to answer the question in chat, no, none of our racers have finished yet, but we are pretty close here as Janus is on the final basement of Sharlock and Bry looking to do the final preparations to make the Sharlock dive. Bry with the strength agility build has an extra level over Janus, and more than likely when Janus gets over to the Dragon Lord is going to put on the Death Necklace.
Oh, and there's a sleep.
And there's the combo we were worried about. Gonna throw a stop spell on.
So
hits it and then runs away.
Yep, down to 1 extra magic, so no magic to spare anymore. Yeah, this encounter rate is painful as a runner. I would... Oh, and he burns a stop spell down to less than 11 Healmores now for...
But at least when it attacks, the Star Wyvern not doing nearly as much damage. Being able to damage break that, it does anywhere from 0 to 15. Now, what I mean by damage breaking or defense breaking is when your defense points are the same as or higher than an enemy's strength, a different attack range is calculated that results in less damage and going all the way down to 0 to a certain capped number.
And the Golem is our last trap tile, so there just wasn't a good trap tile to work with on this this randomizer seed. So Janus is going to use the flute, and the Golem is going to try its best to keep...
Now, Bry has been taking on some enemies along the way here. I'm not sure if he's considering going to 19 on the way down.
I'm not sure.
I mean, with the MP that's already been utilized, I mean, I don't know if this is necessarily an informational dive or if it's go time or just trying to maybe fight partway through, get some information, and...
Oh, that encounter.
Oh, no.
Just keeps getting stopped. I think he's going to try not to have to heal walk too much here.
Yeah, because all it takes is one additional step, and next thing you know... Oh, he's putting on the Death Necklace.
That's one way to not have to heal up to full.
And going with the side-thrown chat strats. And we have our first encounter. So you can see only 99 hit points max with the Death Necklace on.
Moving on to Dragon Lord 2 with 80 hit points.
And just 9 Healmores. So starting off with 12. Gonna have to burn one of the Healmores here. And there's 16 for 28. Again, the Dragon Lord can have anywhere from 150 to 165.
Hitting very well right now.
39.
Above average.
There's a big 15 for 54. Debating gambling on 44, but no, throws the Healmore up.
That was the right call there.
There's another 15. But you can see the MP dwindling down. Just 4 Healmores left. Up to 81. Mr. Holmes saying gonna have to hurt more. We're at 96.
Gonna have to hope for a 135 hit point Dragon Lord too.
Well, hoping certainly for it to roll low, but down to the last Healmore here, only maybe 2 more swipes at it. There's another 14. Last attack here, and it's not enough.
That was hard. That was just such bad RNG on that last floor encounters wise.
And then getting kicked out of the castle because of the curse of the death necklace. And I will admit, Setver, that I lost count partway through. I think it was somewhere in the 120s, maybe around... Oh, never mind. Mr. Holmes saying 148. So just shy.
Yeah, that was... I think it's the right call. I think he has the stats, and I think just got really unlucky with having to spend some magic to get down there. He did roll very high. The first 2 rolls were 12 and 16, so a max.
Meanwhile, Bry at level 19, and wow, look at those gains. There's the level. So Bry is able to get down there. It is, you can see all the green stats. It is go, go, go time.
And with 113 magic and that attack power, one attack point stronger than level 17 with a death necklace. This is gonna look very good. Just gotta get good RNG on the way down, and so far, a couple encounters every other step.
So now Bry through basement 1. Meanwhile, Seawolf getting the rainbow drop.
Yeah, we got a little bit distracted from Seawolf with the Sharlock action going on, but Seawolf has been consistently playing through the Red Dragons and making sure that all the quest items are taken care of, and I think he'll be arriving, the Seawolf will be arriving at Sharlock in the next 15 minutes.
So Bry now making his way through the U that is basement 5. A few quick steps across basement 6, running away from a blue dragon. Not even bothering with the treasury, nothing in there of importance.
There's a lot more breathing room in this 140 hit points with the Star Wyverns. Even failing to run a couple times and getting the sleep lock, it's pretty unlikely that you end up running out of hit points.
And the other thing as well is the ability to damage break these Star Wyverns, so when they do attack and avoid that hurt more, it's not for so much.
And I think Janus is going to demonstrate to us that that dive is possible at 17. It looks like he's going right back.
And now here we go. Declining the offer, being called a fool. And here's the fight with the first form of the Dragon Lord. So there's a big attack, and just like that, Dragon Lord 1 is done, and here comes DL2. And a back attack with all that agility. That's misfortunate. Starting off with a 9. Up to 22 for Bry. $33 now. And there's a double up to 43. $55 now. Again, anywhere from 150 to 165 for Dragon Lord 2. Up to 64. And there's 12 for 76, so potentially halfway there. Up to 86 now. Not going to gamble with the 47.
And Janus is just making it back to the bottom floor of Sharlock. The rolls have been average to low. A couple high rolls to kind of keep it near average, but I've definitely felt like it's been on the low side as well.
Well, a nice 16 there to get to 112, now 124. And still with 5 Healmores left, this is looking pretty good. Oh, and there's a big 17, 141. That should do it, barring a miss menu. And 154 is going to do it.
So that's just how close Janus was on that first one with 148, I believe Mr. Holmes had that count. But a big GG to brisulph, pulling out the victory there at level 19.
And showing that sometimes the strength agility build, well, it can certainly, this shows why it's fruitful in situations like this. But get out your GGs in chat for brisulph, going to finish in first place and get a huge 5 points here in the league with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 39 minutes, and 23 seconds. So it was super close, to say the least. And the adversary putting it very well in chat. You know that the seed is wonky when the winner of the race is level 19. And joining us here in the Discord is our Victor Bry. Congratulations and GG on the hard-fought victory, to say the least.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Oh yeah, I was just trying to get my push-to-talk set up.
More than understandable, all things considered.
I gotta tell you, that was simultaneously my luckiest and unluckiest seed I've ever had.
Well, unluckiest, I'm sure, in just the plethora of red dragons that were everywhere.
I didn't mind the red dragons. My problem was the armored knights and the star wyverns who put my narcoleptic hero to sleep all the time, and he'd stay asleep for like 8.
Well, true. Once you got the strength around, what was that, like level 10 or 11 to be able to take on the red dragons, it was just more of, all right, don't hit me for 48 and we're good.
Exactly, and there was all those great 255 monsters everywhere. That was a 255 seed. The 2 metal slime kills really helped me, I think, get ahead of everyone. I will have to watch it back to see them.
It was very neck and neck between you and Janus from beginning to end. It was one of those things where you had the experience lead, Janus had the exploration lead, then Janus ran into a little bit of trouble while grinding, and that gave you the chance to catch up on exploration. And even all the way to the Dragon Lord, Janus had gotten there first and got all the way up to 148, and it just fell shy, as I believe 154 we had as your count, to the Dragon Lord.
Yeah, my other concern was since everyone else pretty much plays strength hit points, when I wasn't getting the strength and the hit points started piling up, I realized that the death necklace was in play for them, so they could have gone in 17 where I had to go in 19 to be sure.
Which is what Janus did, and then Janus actually just finished up against the Dragon Lord and is going to take second place here in this race and get a nice 3 points here. So check it out, your GGs. Janus going to finish in second with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 43 minutes, and 29 seconds. Just 4 minutes and 6 seconds behind Bry.
And the funny thing is that the strength agility was looking like the right build until the strength wasn't showing up.
Well, we knew it was going to be a particular level. It was like, all right, which is the level that's going to just catapult all the stats? And it turned out that it was 19 was the level.
How are the other two doing in their efforts to get there? They must be getting close.
Well, Seawolf right now is at level 18 and was just kind of going tortoise and hare a little bit, but it looks like is heading on over to, I believe that was that right behind Sherlock there. Was that Garenham?
Yeah, that was Garenham. So he's just going to head back to Garenham to touch up on the magic and the hit points, and then it looks like probably a...
Yeah, Kaiten, we were not able to follow as he was having streaming issues, but doing a local recording. Our tracker, Ali Gerbrap, has been keeping up along the way with what's been going on. We'll get an update in a moment here, as I think Kaiten is at 15 at the moment.
Oh, and the other thing that I felt so good about was that run to the town at the start, finding Rimbledar, getting the key, buying a hand axe and feeling all smart, and then, oh, the sword is in the armor.
Well, that happened with pretty well everybody. They all went, they had the gold, they bought the hand axe, feeling fantastic. Then they go into the treasury or armory and, oh, look, there's a sword that's 2.5 times as strong as the hand axe. But it certainly got things rolling, that's for sure. And I'm sure without it, those red dragons would have been a lot more problematic.
And the golems, and the armor knights, and the demon knight who I whiffed on 4 straight times. That was impressive.
Well, demon knights do have the highest evade of any of the enemies in the game.
4 straight, that's some impressively low odds.
Oh, it is. That is extremely... by no means am I saying that it was by any means expected. It was... you're right. That is, even with the high evade, that is some pretty rotten luck.
And I also enjoyed that I never got an excellent move that helped me in any real meaningful way. I had an excellent dodge, too.
The old excellent dodges.
You gotta love when that happens. I just have to laugh at it.
But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say real quick. I actually have to head off to work soon. I got to get some dinner in me before I go. So you guys have a good one. Good luck to the remaining 2. And GG's to Janus on 2nd place. It sucks that didn't work out because I figured somebody was going to get there ahead of me since I had to go to 19.
Well, it certainly was extremely close. And I'm getting word here, and I hate to have to do this at this particular point, but we do have the next of our races coming up in a matter of moments here. So make sure to give our runners a follow. We are going to step aside here so we can allow for the other race to be brought your way here on Randomania. But make sure to give our runners all a follow. Janus, the Seawolf, Bry, and kaiten619. And I want to thank the folks behind the scenes here as well. Make sure to show some love to Captain Green 7, our restreamer, also Ali Gerbrap, our tracker, and Bob Ski, my co-commentator here. And for everybody along the way, I'm Ferran Burgundy saying until next time, may your moves be excellent and your seeds stay classy. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a matter of moments with the next race here in the Dragon Warrior Randomizer League here on Randomania.